Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Colombia. Not too long ago, this country was regularly in the news for all the wrong reasons: drugs, violence, kidnapping. But today, the story being told is a different one, full of vibrant sounds, flavors, and people. Though its problems haven't entirely vanished, Colombians are reclaiming their country and embracing their culture, traditions, and food. It's an exciting time to visit this country, where the transformation happening right before our eyes is nothing short of remarkable. Medellin, situated in a large valley surrounded by mountains, is Colombia's second largest city. Many today still associate this city with a violent era of the 70s and 80s, when Medellin was dubbed the murder capital of the world. Much of this violent period can be attributed to one man in particular, Pablo Escobar, leader of the Medellin cartel, a highly organized network of narco-traffickers that supplied up to 80% of cocaine in the USA at the time. Medellin local Cesar spent 15 years in a US jail for his role in cocaine smuggling operations for the cartel. Now, he wants to help people understand Escobar's legacy, which he feels is all too often misunderstood by those from outside Colombia.
Entonces, en esa casa, ¿qué pasó?
En esa casa, él corre de la casa que está al frente, donde llegamos primero, corre por una ventana de ese entonces, salta al techo, donde recibe 2 disparos de un grupo que se autodenominó Los Pepes. Cuando él toca el suelo, pone su pistola dentro de la oreja, se mata. Hay muchas versiones, las cuales Netflix y Narcos quieren desarrollar. Pablo preguntaba en muchas oportunidades cuál era la mejor forma de matarse. Él sabía que no podía dejarse coger vivo.
Eso es la historia verdadera.
The Robin Hood image that Pablo Escobar tried to cultivate has had a lasting influence in Medellin, with barrios that he built for poor communities often the source of controversy amongst locals today.
Entonces, ese es el barrio que construyó Pablo Escobar, ¿sí?
Correcto. Desarrolló 400 casas, eran las primeras construcciones en el pico de la montaña.
Comprando la lealtad.
Correcto.
Lealtad de la gente y también porque él quería a los jóvenes trabajar para él.
Correcto. Condescendiente con 400 familias, muchos de esos chicos estaban prestos a hacer cualquier actividad por él.
¿Qué piensa la gente de él acá en Medellín?
Han transcurrido 30 años. En Colombia la gente olvida muy fácil, pero hablando de Pablo Escobar, prefieren no hablar.
Ni recordarse.
Ni recordar.
¿Y eso por qué crees?
Porque creó mucho terror. Se mataron 46.612 personas inocentes. Las bombas que él puso.
Las bombas. ¿Y por qué puso bombas?
Porque él coaccionó al gobierno, que si el gobierno no paraba la extradición, él no paraba a gente inocente.
Wow.
Es ahí donde se viene la verdadera imagen al final.
Mi alma cerrada frente a un frío invierno.
Este es el papá de Pablo, el tío de Pablo, la mamá de Pablo, y ese es Pablo Escobar.
Toda su familia.
Toda su familia Escobar.
Fuiste un conquistador de sueños imposibles, más allá de la leyenda que hoy simbolizas. Pocos conocen la verdadera esencia de tu vida. ¿Cuál fue la verdadera esencia de su vida?
Lo que la madre miraba en él, querer a su madre y a sus 2 hijos, porque el resto del daño que le dejó a Colombia fue muy grande. Pero ahí te das cuenta lo erróneo que estaba la mamá. Después de matar 46.600 personas, me dices que nadie conocía la esencia de su existencia. Eso es muy triste, ¿no?
Santo Domingo used to be one of the most dangerous hoods in Medellin, a brutal urban battleground in Colombia's drugs-fueled civil war. Boys from the hood were recruited and trained by the cartels to become their soldiers. But that was the past, and today, things look very different. Government investment in the metro cables and the city slums has delivered significant, tangible benefits to both the wealthy and the less fortunate.
Mami, vente para acá y préstame esa cosa. Mami, tú estás bien rica, ese cuerpo se ve a mí. Si tú me lo tiras, tú lo sientes en el tamiz. Si tú me lo tiras, tú lo...
Found some friendly locals from the barrio that want to show me around, which is good. ¿Ustedes han vivido siempre acá en Santo Domingo?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Lo que estamos por ahí, estamos relajados.
¿Y cómo es ahora el barrio aquí? ¿Es tranquilo?
Tranquilo,
calmado. ¿Sí? ¿Calmado? ¿Cuántos años tienen ustedes?
Yo tengo 24.
24, ¿y tú?
Yo también. Él tiene los mismos que yo.
24 años. ¿Sí?
Somos jóvenes. Yo tengo 2 hijos.
Wow. A ver, a mostrar.
La bebé, son lindas,
Obviamente las cosas han cambiado mucho, o sea, la gente no venía acá.
Era pura bala, plomacera, de todo. Ni uno podía salir.
Ni uno podía salir.
Tenía lo que estar en la casa cerrado.
Todos, ¿sí? ¿Cómo digo cool? O sea, qué bacán, qué chido. ¿Cómo se dice en Colombia?
Qué chimba.
Qué chimba.
Habla como es la vista de acá, vea.
Mira.
Es bonito.
Muy bonito.
Él es también amigo de nosotros, mire. Nosotros somos muy conocidos. Richard, venga.
Richard.
Richard Ríos.
Richard Ríos, encantada, Molina Angelita, mucho gusto.
Se está conociendo el barrio.
Sí, me están mostrando el barrio. Muy
Esa
lindo.
es la historia. Diga,
Muy
el
lindo.
mono. A mí dicen el mono.
El mono,
La
este.
mole.
¿Y este?
La mole.
La mole.
Ya es
Wow.
Richard Ríos. Que baila así.
¿Bailas? ¿Sí?
Tienen que aplaudir.
Ah, sí, vamos.
Mentira. De aquí para allá, vea. Este me va.
Wow. Entonces, este es la biblioteca, ¿sí?
Esta es la biblioteca España.
Y aquí van a ofrecer qué para la comunidad.
Centro de atención al joven. Centro de atención al joven, computadores.
Este es un servicio a la comunidad, ¿no?
Sí. Le voy a dar un recuerdo acá a Medellin, mire.
¿Qué es?
Una ficha de allá. Es una ficha verde. De
Ah,
la suerte. Al casino. Esos son mis amuletos.
muchas
Con
gracias.
este. Mire.
Ah,
El Señor Jesucristo, todo.
Sí.
Desde acá.
Ustedes son religiosos, ¿sí?
Yo creo en mi Dios.
¿Rezan?
En el
Sí.
mismo sí.
Sí.
Hay que darle gracias a Dios porque estamos llenos de vida, de salud.
Todo puede cambiar. Un día todo puede estar mal, al otro día todo puede estar bien.
Sí.
Y todo cambia así.
Hola, buenas. Quería probar algo tradicional. ¿Tienes una de carne? ¿Esto qué tiene?
Bueno, a ver si le gusta.
Cebollita. ¿No? Muy rico. Muchas gracias. Voy a mandar a todo el mundo a este puesto. Los empanadas de diosa. Muchas gracias.
A far cry from the days when the city's inhabitants were too afraid to go outside, Medellin's downtown area has been transformed and is now a bustling area full of commerce, people, art, and the greatest pride of the city's inhabitants, the metro system, the only one to date in all of Colombia.
This is Parque San Antonio in the center of Medellin, and around here you have a lot of the sculptures from the famous Colombian artist Fernando Botero, which reminds me, if you're somebody who's a creator, you have a blog for example, or you're selling online products and services, and you need a really great looking website, I've got an amazing offer for you in this video. I've got 10% to offer you of Squarespace. They're an online website design service. They've got lots of ready-made, beautiful looking templates on their website for you to choose from. They've got this incredible blueprint Squarespace AI technology, which basically works a bit like ChatGPT. So you can give it prompts and it will come up with things like an about section for your website. It also is very intuitive, so it allows you to pick the color and the font aesthetic that you want, drag and drop your photos into the website templates. So even with no prior experience making a website, they make it super easy. Also, they have online tutorials on both their website and YouTube, so that makes it easy and it takes you step by step through the steps that you need to make your website. I absolutely love the website that I've made using Squarespace. I just went for a very minimal aesthetic, very clean colours, and it's allowed me to have lots of drop downs for the different things I want people to be able to search for, like the YouTube videos, my Instagram and social media. So I recommend building your website with Squarespace. You get a free trial. Once you're ready to launch a website, you get 10% off when you head to squarespace.com/MelliniAngelica and you enter the code MelliniAngelica at the final page of checkout. So have fun building your amazing website.
Santiago de Cali, or just Cali as it's known to most people, is famous for being the salsa capital of the world. When salsa rhythms made their way to Colombia with Puerto Rican and Cuban musicians from New York in the 70s, this city, more than any other, embraced the musical genre. And today, every bar across the city is filled with hip-swaying caleños dancing salsa caleña. Wow, incredible dancing! So here, the salsa is much more Cali style, fast spin, shimmy. They kind of like took salsa from Cuba and made it their own. Maybe a lot faster. Rico, rico, rico. Founded by the Spanish in the 1530s, the historic hilltop neighborhood of San Antonio still has well-preserved colonial homes and views of the sprawling tropical metropolis. Cali was an important city during the colonial period. Spanish elites grew wealthy from the gold and slave trade which flourished in this part of Colombia. The lasting influence of this cultural fusion is reflected in the dishes served up by locals, which draws upon European, African, and indigenous roots. Mercado Alameda is the city's central covered market, where farmers sell their fresh produce. But the real gem is the adjoining food court, serving up cheap and delicious Colombian classics. Sancocho de gallina, a humble chicken stew typically served on Sundays. Chicken simmered slowly in broth and served up as a soupy stew with rice, cassava, and other starchy veg. That is so good. A really, really hearty soup. Perfect after a night out. It's absolutely delicious. This is what I call really kind of homemade comfort food. You want to get yourself, the traditional Colombian stuff. Cartagena, Colombia's tropical city on the Caribbean coast, perhaps best captures the essence of what makes this country so special. A vibrant mix of cultures, indigenous, Spanish, and Afro-Caribbean, all mixed together to make this city a uniquely diverse and exciting collision of energy and flavors. This is the historic center in Cartagena, and it's got a lot of history. It's very impressive because it's got the old ancient walls which surround this part of the city, and then outside you've got the modern skyscrapers of Boca Grande, and all of the ancient fortresses are intact. So it's just incredibly beautiful. Wow, this has got to be one of the most beautiful historic old towns I've ever been to in South America. The colonial architecture, the historic buildings, and the ancient churches. It's all stunning. It gives it a very romantic air. Coconut water, there is nothing better than coconut water. It's always so refreshing in this heat. Es de Colombia. Los cocos son de Colombia.
Sí, son de aquí de Colombia.
Oh, look at that. So good. Gracias. Perfecto. Gracias. It's just so good. Me encanta. Buen día.
Igual.
Chao.
Y así, y así, y así, y ahora, los hombres se están muriendo por la cosita de la señora. Bienvenido a Cartagena.
Hola, palenquera.
¿Ustedes son de Palenque?
Sí.
Mucho baile, mucha música.
Sí, mucha comida.
Sí. Entonces hay mucho como descendencia afro-caribeña acá en Colombia. Sí. Y eso es una rica cultura, ¿no?
Claro que sí.
Gracias. Gracias, chicas. Well, you certainly do not get bored walking around the old town. I mean, it's like a maze. There is so much to see, and I hate to say it, but pretty much every single colourful home is very Instagrammable. And if it gets too hot and humid, you can always pop into one of these cute little restaurants for a drink. It is beautiful, one of the nicest places I've ever been. To see all these cultural influences at their source, I take a trip to the Central Market. But word of warning, this isn't your typical farmer's market. Stall upon stall, a maze, a labyrinth. So enlisting some help from a local around here is necessary.
Basurto Market is the heart of Cartagena. You can see it. We find the energy of people.
Yeah, this is like the kind of real life Cartagena.
The real life of Cartagena. We can say that we need to enjoy the bad smells, but those kind of situations compose a big market like this. For that, we need to enjoy all of that we find here in this market.
Yeah. Basurto Market, an almost self-contained city within a city, a realm unto itself, teeming with countless aquatic creatures and a worrying lack of cooling systems in sight.
We have red snapper.
Wow, and that's a big fish.
This one, black and red mojarra. In other countries, they call it catfish, but here we call it bagre. Do you know why?
Bagre, ugly,
Bagre,
feo.
ugly. A local fisherman here in this community.
Pescadero.
Pescadero.
It's a vibrant spectacle, an exuberant show, a rainbow of fruits, most of which I've never seen or heard of before. The smell is intense. There's an endless variety of mangoes, citrus fruits, berries.
Lulo is very special. It's sour and sweet.
It's sour, huh?
It's sour. Okay, granadilla. You can see the texture. Almost like passion fruit, but it's different. It's not citric. Yeah.
It's nice.
It's very, very sweet.
It's very good. Okay, so this is the pitaya. I've always wanted to try it.
He said that it's similar to granadilla.
Está muy dulce, me gusta.
Sí.
I could spend hours trying the endless array of exotic Colombian fruits. But Jesus tells me that he wants to take me to meet one of the market's legends. What we're looking for deep in the market is a spot to eat, a place where both market workers and locals gather to enjoy a good meal. Finally, food paradise.
La Primorosa restaurant.
Rosa.
Sí. ¿Cuántos años tiene Rosa?
46 años del traslado de allá del centro convención hacia aquí.
¿Y cocinas tú?
Aquí mismo.
¿Sí? Todos los platos típicos de Colombia.
That's the local seafood rice, and that's our baby sharks.
Baby sharks?
Yeah. That is a local food, total of land, delicious.
This is turtle meat.
Turtle meat.
Yeah. And egg.
And eggs.
Rosa's specials of the day include some rather questionable ingredients. But after seeing all that fish, I'm here for one thing, and one thing only. Creamy rice stewed with seafood. And for reasons I can't explain, plantain bathed in the country's favourite candy-coloured soda.
We call it here temptation plantain. Plátano en tentación. You are eating the most unique food here on the coast of Colombia.
Yeah, it's very good. Salud.
Yes,
to that.
salud.
Although food in the market takes centre stage, you have to remember that this is Colombia, and music is never far away. Jesus tells me the market has its very own DJ, and we're on our way to find him.
We're here with Edward. Edward, saluda.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Encantada.
African music. Ven, vamos a bailar un momentico, ven. Éntrale.
He's a dancer, right?
Yeah, he's a dancer. Dance with him. Normal steps to dance champeta African music here.
Wow, he's very good.
Very easy.
Dancing in public isn't frowned upon in Colombia. Quite the opposite. And given the opportunity, locals don't waste time in showing off their dance moves. The sleek, modern Boca Grande district lies just beyond the city walls, much of which may well have been funded with American visitors' 1980s indulgences. Smart apartment condos reach for the sky alongside grey sand beaches and locals bathing in the teal-coloured sea. It's a good place to work on your tan whilst dodging pushy vendors. Maybe grab some plastic chairs and a cold beer at one of many crowded beachside kiosks. Or you could take a 1-hour boat trip across the water to a whole new world. Isla Marina, a tiny island off Colombia's Caribbean coast, part of the archipelago making up the Islas Rosario. At first glance, it feels like you've landed on some shipwrecked island. Not a soul in sight. Sand and salt spray gently caress your face as you stare out at the postcard-perfect turquoise sea. This place is absolute paradise. Just a beautiful Caribbean island in Colombia, surrounded by the gorgeous turquoise water, the sounds of the birds. It is one of the most idyllic settings that I have ever seen. I'm just enjoying a gorgeous pina colada. Sun, sand, rum, and food. A classic Caribbean lunch with all the staples. There's fried fish, plantain, coconut rice, and salad. Gotta love the crispy fish skin. It's so good. Such a popular thing in Colombia, fried plantain. Patacón. There is nothing better than eating fresh fish on a tropical island. After lunch, there's nothing more to do than spend the afternoon soaking up paradise. After all, life's short, and so far, I've learned that Colombians live for the moment, and it's something we should all learn to do too. You know, maybe I'm in the wrong job. Maybe I just need to go and get myself one of these jobs as a fisherman. Like these guys that are just chilling out on their little canoes, going out fishing for their fresh catch of the day. Maybe I should just totally change my life and just live on an island. Cartagena and Colombia's Caribbean cities are known to have birthed one of the country's unique sounds, champeta. What started out as a dance style later morphed into a musical genre in the 1970s. It's said to have developed in the first free town of Palenque, an hour away from Cartagena, and became a movement and identity among Afro-Colombians. Pretty cool to see the performers tonight in the old town. It's amazing. They're really, really talented musicians, very talented with the drums. The dancers are just absolutely fantastic to watch. Pretty cool, and it's an amazing setting. You've got this like centuries-old cathedral in this plaza, and they're dancing, and it's just like, wow, what a magical setting. So there's so much good street food in the old town, and one of the things I really, really want to try is arepas, because they are huge in Colombia. They look amazing. This guy's got loads on the go. Oh, they look so good. Basically, arepas filled with cheese, and they're made with like corn, maize, basically grilled on the flat griddle. Wow. Look at that. So good. Amazing, gracias. Look at that. That's so good. That's absolutely fantastic. It's just cheesy, buttery, and I love the texture of the arepa. It's a perfect street food snack, honestly. Wow. Colombia is a country that has historically driven men mad. Mad for gold, for coca, for its magical ancient wisdom. But who does all that rightfully belong to anyway? The Sierra Nevada of Santa Marta is the highest coastal mountain range in the world and is home to 4 of Colombia's indigenous tribes. I'm heading to meet the Wiwa, an indigenous people whose history in Colombia spans thousands of years and includes displacement, first with the arrival of colonizers, and later with Colombia's own internal conflicts. Manuel is the leader of the Wiwa tribe in the village of Godseji, and he's leading me deep into the mountains to a nearby waterfall.
La mata de coca, las mujeres, los hombres no se puede coger, sino para las mujeres. Y nosotros, los hombres, los procesamos, los quemamos. Sí,
Quemar.
para mambiar, para tostar.
Para tostar.
Tostar. Y después para mambiar.
Como
en este tipo,
masticar.
Masticar después.
¿Y esto es la misma coca? ¿La misma planta
sí, es
de
la misma,
cocaína?
Sí, es la cocaína. También esto se hace té de coca. Para el cansancio, para tranquilizar el cuerpo. Es bueno de tomar té de coca la noche.
¿Te gusta vivir acá?
Yo sí.
¿Sí?
Porque para acá en la sierra hay más de fresco, más tranquilidad.
Naturaleza.
Más hay paisaje, muchos animales.
On the way, Manuel points out many species of trees, plants, and insects, and it becomes clear that the wisdom of nature and indigenous people is real. It's intertwined, that these ancestral lands have a rightful owner, and one can't survive without the other.
Cuando las mujeres, cuando tienen demasiado, son las administraciones o las reglas, muchas, lo preparamos esto para bebida. Sí, mira.
¿Y esto cómo sabían? ¿Cómo sabías que iba a hacer esto?
No, lo que pasa, tenemos tan tiempo nuestros de ancestros, los abuelos, todos venían conociendo una planta. Sabemos cuál es la planta de los medicinales, para enfermedades, diarrea, vómito.
Todo tiene un remedio natural.
Sí.
Wow, it's very poderosa el agua.
Muy poderosa.
Wow, this is absolutely breathtaking. Scenery is just so beautiful. ¿Pescan acá?
Agarramos como unos 2 pescados o así. No es mucho. Hay que dejar los animales también, dejar quietos para...
¿Qué son los desafíos para la comunidad indígena?
En las historias, eso tenemos un poco muy larga de los españoles. Nos hemos robado muchas minas, muchas cosas de algo de sagrado.
Te han quitado mucho la tierra, ¿no? Y los recursos. Cada cosa tiene un sentido espiritual.
Sí.
Cada cosa natural.
Cada cosa tiene su sentido espiritual. El río tiene una cosa de sentido espiritual. Eso es más sagrado. En la montaña, el bosque, en la sierra, muchas cosas.
Centuries since the arrival of the Spanish, Santa Marta has been the starting point for explorers, conquistadors, farmers, miners, narco-traffickers, and more recently, tourists. All have gazed towards that hinterland and seen the gleam of treasure. I too have come here in search of a way into this sacred landscape, to learn about a culture that has rather remarkably remained uncolonized. I find Colombia inspiring. They confront challenges that are more intense and seemingly impossible to overcome than many of us can even fathom. Yet they always manage to push forward. If there's one thing I hope I've shown you about Colombia, it's that there's always hope for change. Even in the darkest moments, the most challenging places can turn around. Colombia is incredible, with food and landscapes that will truly surprise you. But as always, it's the people who truly bring this magical country to life.
Báilalo, gózalo, como lo canto y lo siento yo, como un